the ingredients against the Ospreys to be a cracking 80 minutes of rugby. Luke Fitzgerald having to make an early tackle. Another guy, I'm sure, itching to get some game time under his belt. And Paul James and Nathan White just having a bit of a go at each other early on. What you like to see, I suppose, the pre-match tension and the advantage being played to Leinster as Isaac Boss looks to feed outside McFadden, who's standing at 10. And he's tackled by Bigger, but we'll go back for the penalty. Tony Ward is beside me. Tony, really looking forward to this game. I'm sure you are too.
Hugh, I have to say, like every loyal Leinster supporter here tonight, when I heard Brian O'Driscoll, and when I heard Brad Thorne was playing, I have to say it added immeasurably to the excitement. I genuinely looking forward to seeing how the two of them get on. Obviously Leo Cullen as well, he hasn't been out as long, but to see O'Driscoll, to see Thorne playing for Leinster tonight, a really exciting prospect. Good start by Leinster. Small point it might seem, but Madigan's kick there, I always like to see a kick-off going close to the touchline from the kick-off, because immediately it exerts pressure in the right areas. And a silly mistake through pressure from Leinster, a silly mistake by the Ospreys, giving this opportunity now to Fergus McFadden.
Well, 67 points in the league so far. It's 50th appearance for Leinster, Fergus McFadden. He struck that one very hard, but accuracy not a problem. Straight between the posts, and the ideal start for Joe Schmidt and for Leinster.
Yeah, I thought he had pulled it slightly, but he was kicking extremely well before the game. Was just inside the post. I'm sure he breathed a private sigh of relief on the way back there, but he nailed it. Interesting
in terms of stats, Fergus McFadden, when he's been on kicking duty, he's been extremely high success-wise. 24 from 27 attempts this season, 88%, which in terms of first-team goal kicking, can't argue with those statistics. As Dan Bigger, another one who's been pretty hot with the boot for the Ospreys, gets the match back underway, and the Ospreys managed to rob it. I think it was Richard Hibbert who got his hands on that ball. Stowers at the back, and Fatu Ali, the scrum half, to feed the ball out. Big 6'4" scrum half, Fatu Ali. I'm sure we're going to see him make a couple of runs as Richie Fussell comes into the line and pops the ball up to Beck. And Jano Dirksen in the dyed blonde hair, leaving it as Leinster contest and win. Nathewa, right-footed, pumps it clear, and he just about finds touch. Dirksen was already across the line and will have a line out, but again it's contesting at the breakdown from Leinster, and they do just enough to win the ball.
For Leinster, so good, so competitive, and in fairness to Nasewa, he got every last inch out of this. It's a hell of a kick given how close to the touchline he was when he actually struck it, as we'll see here. Right down, taking play to the 10-metre line inside the Ospreys half. Brilliant kick by Nasewa.
Leinster getting low in the maul. Trying to stop an early drive from the visitors. So far the Ospreys do pretty well to make a couple of leaders in the contact. George Stowers hitting the deck. Samoan teammate of Fatu Ali at scrum half. Thorne making a nuisance of himself early on. I'm sure Leinster fans will love to see that. Justin Tipperick trying to break through the middle. Leaves it for a scrum half. Bigger punts it for the right hand corner, needs the help of the bounce. Fitzgerald got across, but all he can do really is watch that one. Another player who's only had one appearance really since October. Quick ball back to Nathewa, who keeps himself in play. That's great strength by the Fijian, and the crowd appreciate it as well. Isaac Boss just having a bit of trouble at the back. Stowers making a nuisance, but gets the pass away to Heinke van der Merwe. Cullen, the captain, standing to the right, and he takes it into contact. Madigan to McFadden. Brian O'Driscoll, first touch for him, and well, tries a little pass and wins the knock on. Well, spring in the step from Brian O'Driscoll, Tony, exactly what the crowd wanted to see.
You got it. You can see the reaction when he touches the ball. There, a simple switch, a scissors move, going somewhat laterally, probably trying to force it a little bit, but you can see when he was trying to make the offload. But great to see him with the ball, great to see him out there.
Yeah, he said on Twitter last night he was really excited about playing again, but was expecting his lungs to be bursting by the time he came off the field, which will happen in your first game back if you're not match fit. But as Victor said, Brian O'Driscoll plays like he trains, and in that regard he shouldn't be too far off the mark. even with his absence of just over 6 months. So split back line for Leinster, scrum in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Hugh, even on that point, I mean, it's remarkable how often when Brian has had injuries, serious and otherwise, how quickly he recovers. Like, it's the mental desire to get back as well. And his rehabbing is so good. He's just an extraordinary talent. I doubt we will see his like again.
Well, I remember when he had to undergo the surgery, they were saying there was a strong possibility he would miss the entire season, and he's back within 4 months. I mean, it's just incredible, his healing powers, if nothing else.
That's why I was astonished when I heard. I knew he was doing well in training, but I was astonished when I heard he was actually lining out tonight. Hopefully it'll go well.
And hopefully he will be fit for Munster next week and for the Heineken Cup against Cardiff to come. Madigan, nice hands from Leinster. Little dummy and shove by McFadden, who almost shook off the tackle. There for Isaac Boss. Micah van der Merwe took it at a bit of a stand, so couldn't get momentum forward. Fatu Ali pounced on it, and Bigger puts the grubber kick through. Fitzgerald has to be late to this one. Dirksen has loads of pace, and they got to get back here. Beck was on it as well. But you can tell the Ospreys do have pace on that backline. That was dangerous for Fitzgerald. He had to react there.
Yeah, he did well in the end, Fitzgerald, because he was under pressure, certainly inside and outside. But a clever kick, the second one we've seen from Bigger. We'd one early on where he checked, came back to this side. There you can see it's a mistake actually by Leinster there, Leinster foot putting. But that's well read by Bigger, an intelligent grubber through. And just here for a moment, it looks as if Fitzgerald's in trouble. He could have been, but he got there.
So Richard Hibbert to throw. They go to the back. Inside testing from Leinster. Dominic Ryan almost got up there, but it's the visitors who have it. Set them all again. This is an area they look like they're going to try and target Leinster. They've tried this now a couple of times in the space of almost 7 minutes. Fatu Ali encouraging his pack to go forward, and they've done pretty well the couple of times they've tried to take on Leinster's pack. No Sean O'Brien, of course, no Jamie Heaslip, no Mike Ross, and no Cian Healy. But eventually they get to grips and they bring it down. Leo Va being told to leave it by Peter Fitzgibbon. Alan Jones standing to the right. And it is the Wales international who takes it up and hits the deck. Fatu Ali again. Looking for Ryan Jones.
Advantage.
And the advantage is to the Ospreys. Penalty advantage of that drop goal attempt from Bigger. Why not? Nothing to lose really. He's put it to the right, but we'll go back for the penalty.
Away, number 3.
Leinster not rolling away. I think it was against Nathan White and right in front of the referee as well.
Yeah, he had the luxury of knowing the penalty was coming anyway, but I think he'll be disappointed that he didn't hammer the drop kick over anyway. You know, it's a valid point you make, Hugh, about them all. We're only in the first 7 or 8 minutes, but certainly it's a slight change in strategy we've seen this season from Ospreys. They were more of a dynamic running side. They're still capable of doing that, as we know, when they're at full strength, but certainly there's an emphasis, as you can see early in this game, on mauling tonight. That said, Leinster standing up to it, albeit conceding the penalty.
Well, they were called the Galacticos last season, and for pretty good reasons. That if you look at the talent that's gone out of their side, in the likes of James Hook, Lee Byrne, Mike Phillips, all gone, even Jerry Collins and Marty Hola up front. I mean, that's a lot of talent to leave aside. We know Tommy Bowe is going, we know Shane Williams is retiring, so it really is a case for Steve Tanney, the new coach, of trying to get in some new blood and reinvent how this team plays. But Dan Bigger, who's 10 from 10 in his last kicks a goal, just to continue that streak. Struck it well, turned away straight away. He knew it was good. 3 points apiece.
Always a lovely feeling that when you know the second you kick it, it's on the way over, and you can tell by the kicker once he turns away. As you see there from Dan Bigger, he knew he had it.
Somebody who probably felt he could have put more time in the international scene. Dan Bigger has been very good for the Ospreys. But this guy, Ian Madigan, is about to kick off. What a season he's had so far for Leinster as well. Again, Tony, he's gone near the touchline just to put a little bit of pressure on, but Dirksen fancies trying to take it outside the 22.
Yes.
Box kick from Fatu Ali. Sewa has to watch this one. Lets it go into touch.
Inside.
Inside the 22 is the call. I said 6'4" for the Simone. There he is. He's not quite that. Just 6'2", so my mistake early on. But he certainly is a big physical scrum half.
For sure, and that was a hell of a kick. Madigan that time again going for the long one. It wasn't quite as close to the touchline as last time, but I certainly, as I say, that's the area in which I like to see the restart going.
Ball off the top from Brad Thorne. Leo Va taking 2 to bring him down. And Isaac Boss ball for him to try and use. So far,
Rook now, no hands.
even enough in the opening 10 minutes. There for Boss to use again. He'll throw it up this time. Leo Cullen.
Advantage.
And turnover ball, Ryan Jones to Stowers, fires it on the outside. Tipperick again. Well, Richie Fussell couldn't hang on to it. Referee said advantage was over from the early infringements. We'll go to the knock-on. For the knock-on.
Yeah.
And Richie Fussell disappointed with himself there.
Yeah, that's poor. The Ospreys will be very disappointed with that, because again it was somewhat of a loose turnover by Leinster. They had good forward momentum, an opportunity for the Ospreys blown, and at the end it looks like it's the result. Nah, it's poor. I mean, it wasn't the greatest pass, but he should have still have taken it in his stride.
Okay.
Richard Fussell.
Patience on the engage call, on my call.
As the lads mentioned, Leinster unbeaten in 20 matches. Last lost against Glasgow in September. But it's such a run they are on. The Ospreys though have won 3 of the last 4 games against the Irish province, so both teams have statistics to back up their form. Leinster get the penalty.
In and down.
Ospreys collapsing.
One wide. Hitting down.
And Madigan, I'm sure, will go up the touchline and set up the line out.
Maintain your height.
And first opportunity to come. An attacking platform off the line out for Leinster deep in Ospreys territory, certainly close to the 22.
Decent kick again by Madigan. He's a guy that's really impressed you this season as well, the fly half, considering what he's had to do stepping in for Jonathan Sexton.
Very much so, and he had it tough in school. You know, he went to Blackrock and he wasn't first choice all the time. I think himself and Darragh Fitzpatrick competed for the position, but he really has blossomed in recent times and taken over the responsibility when Johnny Sexton hasn't been available. A really assertive outside half.
And 6 tries this season as well, which is impressive stats for number 10. It just shows his confidence and his willingness to step off the mark. He's a very quick burst over about 20 metres or so, Madigan. And deceptively strong runner given his size, but Leinster have it and they work Fitzgerald in the left-hand side. Not many options for the winger, so just happy to set it up for his pack. And Isaac Boss for Strauss. Advantage to Leinster. There's the penalty.
4.
And Ryan Jones, I think the guilty man, not releasing the tackler.
4.
Quick tap and go by Fergus McFadden, obviously wants to try and push for that try line, despite the fact that it would have surely been him who had a shot at goal. Brad Thorne drops the head, the 37-year-old All Black. And again, another penalty, not being back 10, the Ospreys. This time they might think better of it.
Not releasing in the tackle. Go 10 to the goal line.
Yeah, they're for sure a statement of intent from Fergus McFadden. Ironically, they have another penalty, but it's slightly further out, but still well within his range if he wants to go for goal, and I would imagine this time he will.
I suppose Ospreys third in the table as it stands and 3 points behind Munster, but they have nothing else to play for this season, so Steve Tandy is very much in mind that the top 4 place is vital if their season is to be judged in any way a success.
Oh, this is a huge game for the Ospreys, no question. It's the piece of silverware they're chasing clearly, and they've done well in this competition, as we know in the past, is the Rabo Pro 12 Direct. Whereas Leinster, I mean, Joe Schmidt won't thank me for saying it, but they're fairly secure at this stage and looking like a home semi-final at the very least.
So second opportunity for Fergus McFadden from the boot. Blasted the first one straight over. This one, as Tony mentioned, a little bit more difficult. Well, he never caught that. Just blasted it, but it went to the left this time.
Yeah, it was much like the last kick, you know, that actually went over, and that he pulled it somewhat to the left. He got away with it the last time, just inside the left upright. But that time it was, he'd be disappointed with that. That was a poor miss by his standard and the standard he set for himself throughout this season.
Doesn't waste much time over ceremony. Fergus McFadden in his goal-kicking style. And just on that occasion, pulled it to the left. Bigger to restart. Dave Carney.
Here's them all.
Leinster getting a bit of a shove that time. Isaac Boss. Slower ball than perhaps intended. for the scrum half, taken up by Rhys Ruddock. And there for Madigan. Beck was up very quickly, but a beautiful wraparound, and Ethan Nathay was through, bursting into the gap. Tries to shrug off the tackle of Dirksen, who did well to position his body in such a way that Nathay had to go through him as opposed to around him. Ruddock burst through. Aaron Jarvis brings him down. Boss again to Oval, took his eyes off it. Referee playing advantage to the Ospreys, and Bishop gets it clear. Stowers looks for support on the outside. Richie Fussell at full back. Eli Walker, he couldn't hold on to it. Advantage now to Leinster, and they'll go back for the scrum.
Knock on back here.
But rustiness from both teams there. Leo Va, I think, more eyeing up his opposition hit than the ball itself. Leinster get away with it though.
Yeah, disappointing on both sides, the unforced errors against them. This is a beautiful pass. It's the precision passing that Schmidt has brought to the Leinster cause. There from Madigan to Nasewa. But this follows up with a knock-on by Ava, and it's been a pity. There have been a number of errors. Against that, a willingness on both sides to put the ball, there you see it. I mean, really, that was unforced. He wasn't under a lot of pressure, but a willingness on both sides to put it through the hands.
I mean, it's brilliant to watch Leinster's offload and passing style of play. It's all very well, Tony, if you have the players to make that count, but if you look at Scotland during the Six Nations, the most amount of passes made and the most offloads, yet they finished bottom. So it just goes to show you must have the players to do it.
The players to do it, and the quality of passing with those players, and that, as I say, is what Schmidt has. But it's really precise, and it might sound very, very simple and obvious, but to put the ball in front of a player at full tilt, the difference that makes, and we almost saw it there from Leinster.
Okay, well, come forward, please. Time on.
Peter was given having a word with just the two front rows in the scrum. Irish referee. Good news for him today. He was appointed ref for the Amlin Challenge Cup quarter-final between Stade Francais and Exeter. Johnny Lacey's going to take charge of Wasps against Biarritz, and George Clancy for Toulon versus Harlequins. So plenty of top quality Irish international referees, and indeed for the Heineken Cup and Amlin Challenge Cup, which is brilliant to see. And just rewards for their efforts as well. Ova picks off the back and leaves it for Boss, who's having a bit of trouble dealing with the pressure from the Ospreys pack, and maybe just needs a bit more security around that fringe to let the back line flow. He's a tough guy though, Isaac Boss. Leo Cullen. Switch tack and Gary Owen from Madigan. Plenty of height on this one. Kearney's after it. Walker takes it and drops it. Second time in as many takes for Eli Walker. And he's a young guy, but that won't do his confidence the world of good.
No, and in fairness to Madigan, it was a really well judged up and under. Plenty of height and hang time. But I actually thought Walker had this. He seemed to have got it. Yeah, and then he actually lost possession, apparently having done the hard part. But it's all about the chase, putting the man on the ball under pressure. That said, I felt he should have taken that.
Well, of course, Shane Williams is technically still on the books with the Ospreys, but he's only going to play one match before now in his retirement, which is against the Dragons, a home game in Swansea. But he's also working in tandem with Steve Tandy to try and bring through some wingers of the last couple of months and give confidence to the young guys who otherwise wouldn't get their game if he was still playing. So I think it's a mark of the man, really. Selfishness on his part. Isaac Boss to Madigan. Little step. We'll switch back inside to O'Driscoll. Just hit the deck and tackled by Tom Smith. Madigan calling for this one out wide. Nathay in at the centre. Switch with McFadden. Not a lot of space for him to work his magic, but
no knock on.
Brad Thorne this time. Bungled his way over the first tackle.
It's okay.
Ospreys competing at the breakdown again. Isaac Boss having to hang on for dear life. Leinster appealing for the referee's decision. They get a scrum.
I think they're a little lucky to get away with that, because I felt Brad Thorne was a little bit isolated, and the Ospreys appeared to have got possession. But the referee, he's close for the action. We may just see it here. There you see, just a little bit on his own. Ospreys managing to get to the ball. Either way, the referee is given the put into Leinster, and a very good attacking position it is.
What a signing though, Brad Thorne, to bring into this Leinster team, particularly at this stage of the season. I mean, we were wondering, the loss particularly of Nathan Hines, how that would affect Leinster, to have the, I suppose, somebody to do the grunt work and the donkey work and the strength. I mean, this guy, He's won everything, Tony.
Well, as Donald said beforehand, a very smart piece of work by Leinster for sure. I mean, he is a Nathan Hines type figure, a hard man in the second row with a great work ethic, it has to be said, and that will rub off on others, I have no doubt.
Here we go.
Temporary loan deal, of course, from Japanese club Sanex Blues, but penalty to Leinster. Again, it's very kickable. Madigan has it at the moment. He's going to leave it for McFadden. He's pointing to the sticks, and we'll have a shot at goal.
Yeah, this is an important kick for McFadden, because with Madigan in the side as well, another very accomplished goal kicker, there can be a tendency to, when you know there's another kick there, just to drop your own standards a little bit and say, oh, well, if I miss it, he'll get it. But I'm glad to see he's taken the responsibility. So this is an important kick for McFadden, and obviously for Leinster too. And
he's been one of those players as well on the fringes of the Irish squad, in the 22 quite often enough, but he's also kept Leinster ticking over in the absence of the international players. He scored all the points against the Scarlets, I think 16 last month. In February, a crucial win just to preserve that lead at the top and their unbeaten streak. This one, he should get it really. Again, not as clean as the strike, and they're all coming slightly to the left as Bernard Dunn watches on. But still, the ones that go over, you wouldn't take them back.
No, you'll take that for sure, but you're right, Hugh. Again, just about getting inside the left upright. You know, when you think about it, I mean, not only is there Ian Madigan there to step in if necessary, you've also Isa Nasiwa, who can't half kick well either.
Great to have the three options, particularly if one goes missing. Joe Schmidt. Kearney again is looking for a gap among the Ospreys pack even. There for Ruddock to Madigan. Going to run this inside the 22. The pass floated one. Theba gets it away. Back there is bigger and finds his fullback Richie Fussell. Stopped in his tracks, brought down eventually by O'Driscoll. Fatou Ali got runners outside him now. Dirksen, we've already seen his pace and his aggression, but Matheo watched him every step of the way and put him down in his tracks.
And Rock!
Ball's gone forward. Boss finds Nathewa. Bit of a gap up this left-hand side. Dirksen comes across, and it is the winger. Weighs up his options that time. Sold the dummy well on Nathewa. Brad Thorne wasn't buying it. And the Ospreys work the blind side. Bigger. Gary Owen down the centre of the field. Now Madigan's called for this one. He's going to have to take it. Really good catch by the fly half. Watched it every step. The jump and the take. He was under pressure as well. Carried back in over the 22. McFadden can't go straight in, but what a kick that is by Fergus McFadden. Absolutely brilliant. We're going to go down between the lines. Mark McDermott has spotted something. Mark.
Yeah, we're just having a quick look. We're all well aware of the Welsh defence and the shooters. Now look at Bishop here. Here he is posed to actually break the line. As we roll it on, we see how he shoots up, but there's a beautiful little inter-exchange there between O'Driscoll and Madigan to get the ball into the wire, John. Lovely demonstration of how to beat the shooter defence.
Absolutely, yeah. Mark McDermott there, and we were just commenting on that myself and Tony Ward about how quickly that Ospreys defence was up, and we saw Wales do it to Ireland time and time again. The English did it to France, and when you have something to counteract that, there are gaps in behind. I mean, like every defensive system, there are ways of unlocking it. You just have to realise the situation and have the skills and knowledge on how to do it. But the Ospreys have numbers on the left here now. If Fatou Ali can find his man, he took an age to get rid of that ball. He must have gone across 3 or 4 players, the scrum half. Back inside from Bishop, who can't hold on to it. Did it go forward? Managed to get the penalty. And Bishop then was offside.
Yeah, he was in front of the ball carrier. Picked up by the referee. This was some kick, I'll tell you, by Fergus McFadden. That's as good a kick out of hand as you'll see. And he knew exactly what he was doing, what he was looking for, and he got the roll on. I felt sorry for Luke Fitzgerald on this one because, well, the shape of a rugby ball is going to go anywhere. He got a bad bounce initially. You don't let it bounce a second time, it'll go anywhere, and it did.
As I mentioned, just a second game since Christmas. Luke Fitzgerald. Dominic Ryan playing his second since October, so 2 players itching, I'm sure, to get some game time ahead of the Munster match next weekend, the Heineken Cup, as I mentioned. But Fergus McFadden, this is 51 metres out. No real wind to speak of. It's a long, long way. No problem with the distance. Wow, that's a really impressive kick, Tom.
That's a great kick. I mean, if he pulled the second one slightly to the left, that more than made up for it. The only thing I'd say is when you're in front of the post, I know it was inside his own half, but it really is a matter of head down, follow through. He has the distance. He knew he was well capable of doing it, but that really was a quality kick from McFadden, no question.
Across. Testing kick. One of the Stars who came for that one, but didn't want to know a whole lot about it, truth be told. Ospreys still have it though. McFadden couldn't hang on in the tackle.
The ruck is formed.
Walker off his wing. Potter Lee for Bishop. Again, Ospreys can't hold, and they're just giving possession back to Leinster. They're taking their eye off that ball. They've done it, what, 7 or 8 times now, conceding knock-ons. Dan Bigger back inside his 22, looks for the safety of the touch line, and he finds it. Leo thought about the quick one, but Leinster have the line out. But a lot of mistakes from the Ospreys, particularly in the hands, Tony.
There are. To be fair to the Leinster defence, I mean, they're not shooting up particularly fast, but they are coming up as a blue wall, and that's the important thing, that they keep it together, keep it tight. But absolutely right, Hugh, a number of mistakes, handling errors by the Ospreys in midfield, fortunately from a Leinster perspective.
So you turned and everything went down.
Can I just say why you done?
Okay.
He's going in and down. He's on my arm. That's why not.
Peter Fitzgibbon just having a word with Richard Hibbard and Alan Wynne-Jones in terms of what's going on in the front row. The area of scrums, I suppose, pretty high profile in the media and in rugby circles after Twickenham last week, Tony. I mean, in one respect you can understand the confusion and why a lot of people are talking about it, but is there a need to push the panic button just yet, do you think?
I don't. I think it's a problem that's very fixable. But if you were to push me, if we were playing again, say a 5th week in a row in the Six Nations, I would have great difficulty naming a tight head prop to come in place of Mike Ross, who's injured at the moment. I don't know who it would be. So that is an issue going forward to New Zealand. But beyond that, there's a lot of talented props coming through. We had, Hugh, the schools final here, one of 4 provincial finals, obviously, and there were 5 props playing that day that I would pick out and say, look, there's the raw material in Clongowes and St Michael's, the 2 schools involved. So the talent is there. It's a matter of getting the expertise out there, helping them with their technique, and obviously bringing them through the system, and not just the academy. Get them involved in club rugby as well.
Exactly, get them game hardened and not just scrummaging against maybe 19, 20-year-olds at the same age where they learn nothing really from their days in school. That's what the club system is there for. That's what it needs to be used for. The sooner we realise that, perhaps the better. Anyway, it's a long discussion, I'm sure it's been had all around the country since last Saturday and before that even, but Isaac Boss for Leinster. Richard Strauss.
It's okay.
Can't hang on to it. Bigger feeds Beck. Actually, Beck sets it up. And Fatou Ali
Side entry.
options out wide to find his fly half. Richie Fussell to the space on the left-hand side. Nathela came across and read that well.
No
With advantage to the Ospreys. And it's against Luke Fitzgerald for coming in from an offside position.
11 blue side
Bigger, I'm
entry.
sure, will fancy this one. It's well within his range.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine he'd go for this. Narrow the gap down to 3. And lucky for the Ospreys there that the referee was giving the penalty. I don't think they were aware of it because that was a very loose kick, inviting Isa Nasiwa on the counter.
pointed for the post, so Dan Biggar to have another go.
Yeah. Okay, has he gone off? That's fine, yeah, go ahead.
See Luke Fitzgerald, number 11 there, in from the wrong side, clearing out right in front of the touch judge and the referee.
Absolutely right call by Peter Fitzgibbon.
Difficult kick, this one. That's what faces Dan
After the
Biggar.
kick, yeah.
But as I mentioned, conditions
Yeah.
really ideal for place
Blood sub
kickers.
as well for number 3, blue. 3 blue.
And off your screen, I can tell you that Nathan White is being helped to the touchline. Looks like he's going off. Well, he tried to start that one on the right side and bring it back in. He just didn't get enough curl on or whip on it, if you like, with the right foot.
He's
And
okay
he's
to go, he's okay to go.
uncustomary miss there. The streak of 11 successful ones in a row gone for Dan Biggar. It wasn't easy. You can see what he was trying to do. In comes Jamie Hagan. There he is, a tight head prop. And Scott Baldwin as well in a hooker, in place of Richard Hibbert.
He for sure is one of the potential props coming through. Obviously he's moved back to Leinster from Connacht this season, hasn't got too much game time, so this is important for him now tonight.
No!
Well, the crowd thought that one forward of Stour's hand, but the referee says play on. And backwards, Fatu Ali to Fussell, standing at fly half, delayed the pass. And Brian O'Driscoll up very quickly on his opposite number, Andrew Bishop. Ospreys work the blind side, half an hour gone. All kicks so far, 9 points to 3. McFadden, just the one in reply from Dan Biggar. So far this game ready to spring into life. There's the pass to Fussell, who had to check his run, but was tackled well by Fitzgerald. Little chip and chase by Tipperick. Back goes Madigan, happy to go out for the 22-metre dropout.
You know, I know they're making the occasional handling error, but to be fair to the Ospreys, they're giving it a right good go. It's an extremely competitive game.
Madigan wastes no time. Eli Walker. He's got Fussell outside him, but fancies a go on himself over the halfway line. Tackled by Thorne. There for Bishop again. Comes off the boot of a Leinster player. Madigan puts the head down. Tackled by Stowers there for Isaac Boss. Brad Thorne again. One of those carries by the New Zealander. Hands in the ruck. Call from Peter Fitzgibbon. And penalty to Leinster.
Well, they've got away with it a few times, but there certainly it was picked up by the referee. Brad Thorne going to ground, laying the ball back, and immediately a hand coming in, an Osprey's hand, and trying to scrape it back.
It's incredible when you think Brad Thorne, 37 years of age, Tony. He was the oldest player in the New Zealand Rugby World Cup squad by 3.5 years. He's played rugby league for Australia, he's played rugby union for New Zealand, and he's played non-stop for club and country since the World Cup. I mean, at 37 years of age, the physical levels you have to do that is incredible.
And in the professional game, he's been a wonderful example and role model for so many, not just New Zealanders. And that's the point, we were discussing it earlier on, that you've got that quality now coming into the Leinster setup. And it's not only his impact on the field, clearly that's why Leinster have signed him, but it's what he's bringing to young players in training off the field as well.
The likes of Flanagan, the likes of Devon Toner even, I'm sure, can earn a hell of a lot in a short space of time. He's going to be there. Madigan pounced on that one, and he's got the feet to go around the outside, and Madigan's in. What a try. It's try number 7 for him of the season. We mentioned his quick feet, we mentioned his willingness to attack the gain line, and that's the reward.
And that's not just quick feet, that's quick mind at work there. When that one went over the top, I used to look at that as an out half when a scrum half would miss with a pass and went on the ground. But brilliantly read by Madigan. Lovely step off his right. And even the last part, going in low to make sure he got the try. Wonderful opportunism by Madigan, and that could open the game up now. Well taken, brilliant try.
Absolutely brilliantly taken. Look at that. Just the awareness to realise where the bounce was going to come. Change of feet, slip on the outside, and he beat Dirksen for pace there. No easy feat. And that 7th try means he's the 2nd top scorer in the Pro 12 this season. The other is Tim Visser, who's just a try-scoring machine with 12. But it says a lot about Ian Madigan's performance this season. Conversion to come. Well, Dirksen got a hand to that one, I think. He was flying at Fergus McFadden, who was in no rush to take it. He hasn't missed a conversion all season, Fergus McFadden. Here's the try again, Tommy, just brilliant.
Oh, he took that absolutely brilliantly. Everything about it, the step, and as I said at the end, going in low. It might seem a small thing, but that's important too. But it's the alertness, the presence of mind to realise the opportunity was there and then to maximise it to the full.
16 points to 3, 34 minutes almost gone. Knock on from Leinster from that restart, advantage to the Ospreys, and the try. Perhaps this game needed just kicking things into life, and as you said, the Ospreys really have to win this game. If they lose and other results don't go their way, they could drop outside the top 4 after this weekend. You see Carney going for it again. He's been flawless so far from the restart. That's the first time it just went forward, and another player bursting through onto the fringes of the Irish scene. And while he was in the match 22 for the Wales game, probably frustrating for him that he didn't get any game time in that match. Fatu Ali delays the put-in. We're going to reset, I think.
Steady, guys, both sides, let's keep it steady. Yeah. Yeah. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Ospreys getting the referee's decision there. Couldn't quite see from this side. I think it was against
18, you're on his elbow.
Hagen. And that's what the referee says.
Shot. Shot at goal.
Bigger to go
On
for a
the
shot
arm.
at goal.
Must be on his jersey.
Yeah, binding on the elbow, I think we picked up, not binding on the jersey. And this is an opportunity for Bigger now. He'll be disappointed with the last one on this side he missed, but being a right footer on the left side, we can't quite see it that clearly there.
As you mentioned, I'm sure Jamie Hagan, when he signed from Connacht, would have envisaged that he would have got more game time for Leinster than he has this season. But he's still very young, still learning his trade, if you like. And the competition for places in this Leinster squad is absolutely fierce. Bigger to put the Ospreys up to 6.
Okay, that's fine. Yes.
No problem, flags up.
Number off.
Second successful kick for Dan Bigger. Gap is at 10 points.
16.
That the other crucial element, as you said, for Leinster at this point in the season, with Cullen back, with O'Driscoll back, they're nearly picking from a full hand at the most important part and most competitive part of the season coming up.
Well, I'm sure Munster and Leinster fans eagerly anticipating next weekend's clash in Thomond Park. And after that, no better preparation really in terms of physicality and rivalry before the quarterfinals of the Heineken Cup. Leinster to play Cardiff at the Aviva Stadium, and 47,000 tickets already sold for that one. Munster and Ulster in Thomond Park, already a sellout. Two absolutely cracking matches. Leo Va pumping the legs. Brilliant stuff by the number 8. Over the 10-metre line, and just creates go-forward momentum and gives options to his team. This time Ruddock. Thorne, I don't think he was expecting that pass. He was looking to the right corner, and all of a sudden the Ospreys have a chance to counter. Dirksen kicks to nobody in particular. Ethan Athewa, all too easy for him.
Stay out.
Not a good return though. Fatu Ali double teamed. Kearney came all the way across from his wing, and he now retreats. Richie Fussell looks for runners, opts to take it up himself. Big hit from Brad Thorne. Looked like he was trying to make up for that knock on earlier on. Bishop tries to go on the outside, held up well by Ruddock. Good strength for the Leinster number 6. And it's there for Fatu Ali again. Once more, big hits going in. O'Driscoll and McFadden combining there. 2 minutes left in the first half. I'm sure the Ospreys want to get something on the board to show for their efforts before the half-time whistle. This one a high one for Fitzgerald to deal with. Got to watch this one, and he does. And gets the pass away to Madigan. That's brilliant by Luke Fitzgerald. And the chip and chase by the try scorer. Richie Fussell making life difficult with the chaser. He can't block him though. Surely he's not allowed to do that one. Well, I was watching Richie Fussell there because Madigan was after that. Play on, says the referee. Ova drops the shoulder, tackled by Bishop. But that looked like either a bit of clever tactics by the Ospreys full-back and an illegal move that the referee didn't pick up on. Take your pick there. Heinke van der Merwe. Leinster now with a chance up towards the 22. And Madigan finds his pack. Leinster trying to recycle. The Ospreys contesting. And it looks like they've managed to turn this one over as well. Carry back in. Fussell has to clear. McFadden. Kick and chase from the inside centre. This time Ospreys allowed to go straight out, which they do. Well, Tony, and ask your first impressions. Was Madigan impeded there, or was they making too much of that?
Yeah, I thought he was. Well, there's shown again. In fairness to the referee, he's standing just level with it and he waved his hands immediately, but certainly was very close. My initial reaction was that he did deliberately block him, and I've no doubt he knew exactly what he was doing and where he was.
That's exactly the point. I was watching Richie Fussell come back. He had a look to see where Madigan was going each time, followed his movements and stood right in front of him. So, look, he got away with it. So, if it was a Leinster player, he'd be saying clever stuff.
Talking clever stuff, too wonderful offloading of possession by Luke Fitzgerald. Fergus Madigan on the run.
Penalty against Leinster.
Sevens on his feet, hands on first. Let the ball go.
We've gone the 40 minutes, so
Half time.
Figure goes out. I'm sure this will be the last kick of the first half. The Welsh side have seen enough. Leinster with a pretty comfortable lead, courtesy really of Madigan's try, which stretched them ahead. McFadden with his penalties as well, 3 of those, and the conversion with Dan Biggar just 2 in reply. It's been an interesting 40 minutes or so. You feel there's plenty more life in this game in the second half. Half time at the RDS though, Leinster 16, the Ospreys 6. For a lack of discipline at times, they at bottom of the fair play table in the Pro 12 this season already. And sometimes when things go against them, they just have the tendency to lose the head and get a couple of players sin bin. So we'll wait and see if the frustration happens or if the indiscipline happens. But 40 minutes to go, Leinster with a 10-point lead, and as you say, Joe Schmidt, I'm sure, wants them to kick on, settle down a little bit and show what they've been showing for most of the season so far. As Carney takes it into contact, and there for Isaac Voss. Richard Strauss took that very flat. Recycles possession though. And Fitzgerald with a little show and go over the 10-metre line there. Luke Fitzgerald, I'm sure he'd like to have a cut, but there's 3 Ospreys players in front of him and no support to speak of, so he just had to take the tackle and lost it in the process, and away comes Aaron Jarvis. Well, a lovely break originally by Luke Fitzgerald. We know he can do that on a spin really. Plenty of pace in the bag, but just no support when he needed it. And just had to take the tackle, and Thewa watches that one go into touch. But nice little sprint off the line from Luke Fitzgerald.
Yeah, a superb response, it has to be said, by the Ospreys bringing play back down to the Leinster 22. But this for me is what makes Luke Fitzgerald special. It doesn't have to be off his left. He's a natural left-sided player. That was off his right foot. He tried to take the contact. Unfortunately, the support wasn't there. And the Ospreys, to be fair to them, have done very well at the breakdown, scrapping for possession and again turning it over.
And just give a free kick if you don't stay on the white line. That's fine. It's good.
Ospreys come here, of course, on the back of 2 defeats against Ulster and Glasgow, but they haven't lost 3 in a row since May of 2008, which is almost 4 years. And certainly Steve Stanley won't want that statistic to be broken here at the RDS this evening. Back from Eli Walker. Now Carney's after this one. He was shoulder charged as he went for it, but managed to get a boot through. Back goes Dirksen. Straightens up. Now, was that one forward? Referee says no. Crowd on the far side appealed for the scrum from Peter Fitzgibbon. The bounce to Fitzgerald and straight into touch. So we'll go back for the Leinster line out. But Rob Carney almost made them pay there from this mistake.
Indeed, and it was the right option taken. Willem Dirksen does really well here to get back. I'm assuming, yeah, he did. He just carried it into the 22. That's the point, and why we've gone back for the throw opposite where he kicked it. but almost an opportunity there from that little chip ahead by Madigan for Leinster.
That's fine. It'll come down the middle for you.
So Ricard starts to throw in
2 metres.
right down at 22. It's a good attacking platform for Leinster. They go to the back, and Dominic Ryan was the target, but it did not find the man. Referee's whistle's gone though. Leinster get the penalty.
Head of the player who last played the ball, they have to be offside. No, he knocks it back. We're still in an offside.
The call is offside, and it's against Tom Smith. So Leinster a little bit fortunate there. He says unlucky, Peter Fitzgibbon. So it definitely was fortunate from Leinster's point of view after losing the line out, Tony.
Yeah, you can see the look of amusement in the Osprey players' faces there, but apparently there was a player in front of the ball when it was knocked down. That certainly was the referee's interpretation. We may see it here again. Here we see the ball coming down. Oh, I don't know, it's a little bit harsh, I have to say. But an opportunity is for McFadden to stretch the lead out again to 13 points.
Again, wastes very little time. Struck him much better than he was striking the ball in the first half, and that one splits the post. 19 points to 6.
Yeah, the crowd reaction tells you it all. They knew immediately from behind the goal. That's much better. You know, the two we saw in the first half just scraped inside that left upright. He would have appreciated it for sure. Right down the middle.
And Rob Kearney right beside him. Two players who had a very good Six Nations campaign, albeit Ireland probably not getting the return that they would have wanted before the first match against Wales. But Rob Kearney back to
Advantage
his
over.
absolute best. I'm sure itching to get on the field next weekend against Munster in Thomond Park. There for Fatoli. To his Samoa teammate Stowers. It's time they go left. And it's with Beck. Tommy switched to Bishop, but had to take it into contact. Eventually brought down, but he made a couple of metres in the contact to keep the momentum going. Fatoli to Alan Jones in the red scrum cap, as he'd been wearing for Wales in the Six Nations Championship. Stowers again looking for carries and brought down by Jamie Hagan. Cullen this time makes the tackle, and the Ospreys inside the 22 and runners left and right. Bishop.
Release right.
Fatoli again, Alan Jones. Support runners on his shoulder. They're going to work the blind again. They're queuing up on the right hand side. If Dirksen could get the pass away, Ryan Jones had to help him to ground there. But this is much better from the Welsh side. Ricard Strauss trying to slow that ball down. Alan Jones hits the deck, 5 metres short now. Richard Hibbard, no number in his back after the temporary blood sub in the first half.
Stay.
Fatoli again looks for Ryan Jones this time. Again, just keeping it tight around the fringe, trying to suck in the cover, and Leinster win the penalty. Well, it was good defending, it was patient defending, and they kept their discipline, Tony.
That is the point, patience and discipline. And at the breakdown, so many Leinster hands, you could see it there, scrapping for the ball. And that the right decision by the referee. You know, one failing we've got to highlight tonight from Leinster is on the restart so many times. Here we see the breakdown. Ryan Jones just that little bit isolated. Leinster there in numbers.
And plenty of work from Brian O'Driscoll as well to get himself in and over.
Well, as we know, that has been his hallmark, hasn't it? That ability to scrap for ball in the middle of the field, almost doing away with a team needing an out-and-out 7. Such has been the quality of O'Driscoll's ability in that key area. But just on the restarts, the inability of Leinster, where normally they would gobble up ball, and Leo Cullen there in shot, that from that kick-off it was he, and it's ring rust is part of it because it's his first game back. Normally he would take that ball, set the platform, and Leinster would be back in the opposition half immediately.
Ova provides the pass to Madigan, who puts it in behind. You can see what the plan was to McFadden, but Nathewa had to rescue on his own 22-metre line. And luckily for Leinster, they managed to do just enough to recycle possession. That could have been a bit dangerous. You can see what the intention was, but again, when you're running at that kind of pace and you're running inside your 22, each pass has to be so accurate. Fatou Ali underneath this one. Ova comes up, but not with any kind of great pace. And Richie Fussell did well to break the first tackle and the second, and he's still going. Brilliant run from Richie Fussell, the fullback, inside the 22. Once again, Ryan Jones asked to carry it up, and he's brought down by Hanke van der Merwe. The Ospreys having much the better of the last 5 minutes or so. And they want to try, but they get a scrum.
Yeah, Fussell's been very impressive for the Ospreys, both under the high ball and on the counter. And they're doing really well. Leinster will be disappointed the fact that he broke away from the tackle. But once he did, it was in space. He did a lot of damage, putting Ospreys onto the front foot, and a real opportunity now right under the Leinster posts.
Well, he's a winger naturally, Richie Fussell. He came through the academy system at Pontypridd, spent 2 years there, and he scored 21 tries in 46 games, so a real natural finisher. And if you give him any kind of space, he will go for the line. I wouldn't be surprised if he's heavily involved in this backline move, which seems to be called with the split backline scrum underneath the post. Penalty. Now, do they take 3? Or do they go for the scrum again?
Take the 3 points.
Plenty of time, half an hour left. They're going for the 3. Fatou Ali is disappointed. You can see the scrum half. He put his hands together to try and indicate he wanted the scrum, but I think really you got to look to experience, and Alban Jones said no, 3 points.
Yeah, at this stage in the contest with a half an hour to go, right decision.
Straight between the posts. Well, we heard at half-time, Tony, that referee Peter Fitzgibbon, the Ospreys went and had a word with him. They're complaining that Jamie Hagan wasn't setting himself square in the scrum, and they made a formal complaint to watch him for the rest of the match. So no surprise really that Fatou Ali wanted the scrum. He feels perhaps the Ospreys do have the upper hand in that set-piece area.
Well, clearly that's something the referee will be watching this half, and we will too.
It'll be interesting to see if Leinster get penalised on a few more occasions. Lefebvre takes it quickly. Madigan to Luke Fitzgerald. Little dink over the top.
Okay.
Well, there were too many Ospreys players there for that one to really work out in his favour. Scrap for possession. Referees called a ruck, so Leinster have to leave it. There for Fatou Ali. Ball wide on the outside to Beck. Now Dirksen has pace, we know that, and the pass back inside came to hand as well. Lovely stuff from the Ospreys. Stowers on the end of this one. The Samoan international is going to purge his way over and score. Well, the Ospreys, in fairness, for the last 5 minutes, Tony Ward, have been threatening to do just that, but that was a wonderful try.
Ever since that restart that Leinster failed to deal with, it's been the Ospreys in control. They're dominating the game, and again the scrum half so inspirational. And when it goes wide, it's that man Richard Fussell again, but the support is there. They're there in numbers, and in the end you've got to say that's as good a team try as been scored by anybody here against Leinster. Really impressive play by the Ospreys.
Well, they wondered if they might have gone for the scrum. The hands absolutely beautiful from Dirksen back inside to Beck, and Stowers, I suppose if you run those lines of support you will get your reward eventually, and he has worked really, really hard this evening, the big Samoa international. And all of a sudden the decision to go for the 3 only 2 minutes ago looks to have been the correct one, and bigger to add the extra 2. Flags go up. 19 points to 16. The gap now just 3 points.
Yeah, and that was an important conversion as well. Indeed, it was Dirksen, not Fussell, who does really well here. But it's the support play, support on the inside. And that's what you want to see, backs and forwards interchanging. And you've got to say, a well-worked, well-deserved try by the Ospreys. Game on for sure.
Fatou Ali punts it clear. Lefebvre drops back to take this one to Leo Ova. Thought better of the pass back to Madigan, and is going to have a go himself. But again, the Ospreys up in a wall of defence, and they try and get their hands on the ball and make life difficult for Leinster. Madigan to launch one up. So a lot of distance on this one. Should be no problem for Richie Fussell to take. He's got Eli Walker outside him. Decides not to use his winger. And Madigan read the kick pretty well. Carry on from him. And the chase. Beck underneath it. Good take as well by the big centre. Fatoli back towards Dan Bigger. Ryan Jones. It was shitty from him, but he's put on his back. Good tackle it was too. He can go through the middle from Stowers. Dirksen gets himself involved off his wing and in as a flanker almost on that occasion.
Don't pull him in.
Alan Jones just tidies things up, the captain at the back. Fatouali in no rush to use this one at all. Again, an area referees are looking at, just speeding up the play at the scrum half at the base of a ruck. And they're talking or looking at bringing in a time limit as Leinster get the penalty. And you wonder, is this within Fergus McFadden's range?
I'll tell you though, Hugh, worryingly for Leinster in terms of intensity, the Ospreys have upped the ante dramatically since the break. They are very physical there against Stowers, particularly prominent, breaking the gay line, providing that forward momentum. It's been a good opening, 10 minutes to this second half, 15 minutes almost by the Ospreys.
So Madigan to go up the line and find touch. Well, it's been a hallmark of Leinster so far this season that when they've gone through a 10-15 minute spell and things haven't gone their way, they've managed to find a score that revitalises the team and gets them back on track.
And they need it now for sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Time off. Blue 8 and 5.
A couple of substitutions being made. Kevin McLaughlin in the scrum cap there, and it looks like Leo Va is going off, and also Brad Thorne. Well, Brad Thorne in his first match, you don't really expect him to last the full 80 minutes, given as well that the match fitness mightn't be quite up to scratch, given this is his first full game. But how impressed were you by what he did in the opening 55 minutes or so?
Well, he did fairly well. I mean, he had two you referred to them in commentary, two very hard tackles, as they call them now, big hits in the first half, certainly, and that is his hallmark in the close-in action. I'm surprised Leo Va has gone. I thought he had a good first half. Again, he was probably Leinster's most effective ball carrier close in.
Well, I imagine that means the Reece Ruddock will move to number 8 and McLaughlin will go straight into blindside flanker. We'll just wait and see. But you would think that would be the case. Also Damien Brown, who you just saw come in place of Thorne. There for Boss to use. McFadden with a little show on the handoff, almost through. 5 metres short. Try here would be the perfect response for Leinster. The crowd are on their feet, just behind the goalpost. They want to see something. Numbers on the right now for Isaac Boss to try and use. Madigan. Nasewa drips across, wants Carney on the switch. Does get Carney on the switch. Little bit of a gap for the winger, and he's 2 metres short, held up. Advantage coming to Leinster. Dominic Ryan ships it to the back. Kick and go by the flanker. Advantage still being played by Peter Fitzgibbon. Well, all of a sudden the intensity that was missing from Leinster is very apparent in the last couple of plays. Heinke van der Merwe drops the shoulder. Almost at the line, almost over the line. Is he down?
Not grounded, held up.
Not grounded. We'll go back for the scrum.
I know, it's not grounded.
Well, that's good to see. Referee on the spot, and he's happy that he did not see it grounded, so we're not wasting time going upstairs.
Now, this is where we'll see the point of whether or not the Ospreys were right to complain about Jamie Hagan, and whether the referee will have taken note, Tony, because this is going to be an attacking scrum. You can be sure that Ospreys are going to put everything into this. And look, you can see Paul James there saying to the touch judge, watch the bind here, and he's talking about Jamie Hagan.
Yeah.
Any tactics, I suppose, to get the referee's attention and get the decision, particularly in scrum set pieces like this. 5 metres short. Watch Hagan here. That's a big hit from the Ospreys, and again they get the squeeze, but Leinster holding up, and that's a pretty much, well, just as I say, the Ospreys get a massive hit and they drive right back onto the Leinster side. Ruddock did well to come away with that ball at all. Isaac Boss burying his way through. Again, just held up short. Rhys Ruddock, who is playing at number 8 now. Ball at the back again for Leinster. Happy to keep it tight. Referee having a good hard look. There for Isaac Boss. The little pop pass outside. Almost at the line. The home crowd pushing for that score. Brown on the outside. Cullen! It's not Cullen. It's not Cullen. I can't quite see who it is. We're going to go upstairs though. Definitely over the line. Ryan Jones appealing to the referee. He's furious, the Wells international. I'd like to see that one again. I think we are going to see it again.
Can you tell me try or no try, please?
Try or no try,
That's
says Peter Fitzgibbon.
No,
Here we see it again. Better angle this side. Hanke van der Merwe it is. He's over the line. Is the ball down?
Stand somewhere, okay?
Not sure from that angle. That is the question. Did he ground it? Maybe from here.
Coming to me. Just you. But I gotta wait for the decision.
I know you would think with his momentum the answer is yes, but it's not conclusive by any means.
There's the ball. It's just originally the tackle by Hibbard. Well, it's up to the television match official Alan Rogan if you can see the ball being grounded. Maybe here's the angle. The arm's in the way. Is that ball down? And as you say, Tony, if you're saying in all probability, you'd say yes, but if you can't see it, you can't give it.
That is the point. That is what's confronting Alan Rogan. My take, for what it's worth, is a 5-metre scrum.
He's definitely over the line. It's just the tackle from Hibbard that goes in, and also from Beck at 12 to hold it up. So 2 and 12 combining there. And if he has held it up, Beck, he's done a really good job, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Peter, I have a decision.
Yes, Al, go ahead.
The evidence is inconclusive. 5-metre scrum attacking.
Inconclusive, attacking 5-metre scrum.
Well, I suppose that was your feeling as well, Tony.
Yeah, I agree with that decision, I have to say. A little bit of gamesmanship, it has to be said, by Leinster. The entire team was back on the halfway line waiting for the restart, with Fergus McFadden beside the ball under the post, and that's why the crowd are reacting the way they did. But I think that's the right call by the TMO in the circumstances.
So Hanke van der Merwe might feel a little bit hard done by as Aaron Jarvis makes his way towards the touchline, and look who's coming on, Adam Jones. So that certainly won't help the cause of the Leinster scrum, and Brian O'Driscoll, after 57 minutes on his comeback since the Rugby World Cup quarter-final, makes his way to the sideline.
Okay.
And again, just great to see him back. Owen O'Malley comes in, the old Belvedere centre. This will be a very, very interesting scrum. Adam Jones in, Paul James against Van der Merwe and Jamie Hagan. Well, you can see early engagement. Leinster get away with it. Quick tap and go. Madigan, dummy.
Advantage. Rookford.
Penalty coming to Leinster against the Ospreys. Hands in the ruck. And I'm sure they'll take the 3 points on offer here. They've been injured to one of the Leinster players. Can't quite see who it is from here. Looks to be in trouble though. It's Jamie Hagan. Well, he looks to be in a lot of pain. He looks to be in an awful lot of pain, Tony. He really got a hammering on that far side of the scrum. It came right in. Now, the free kick was for an early engagement, so the scrum didn't get to play out, if you like, but he got a massive hit from Paul James. He looks to be in an awful lot of pain.
He's in a lot of trouble there.
The breakdown there and the breakdown there. You have to identify what phase you're at.
Yeah, Mr. Fitzgibbon, here we may see it. Oh yeah,
he got turned. He got
Absolutely.
really badly turned on his inside, and he looks to be in serious discomfort there.
That could be a rib cartilage, the way he turned in there.
Must be patient on the
It would be a tight head prop. You wonder why there's no tight head props going through. Has to be Jack McGrath on the sidelines getting ready to come in.
That's probably why that occurred, okay?
And Jack McGrath is a loose head prop. Hanke van der Merwe, I suppose, would have to switch to the blind side. Maybe McGrath could slot in there, but
substitution.
certainly looks to be in a lot of pain.
Number 8,
Jamie Hagan.
Yeah. Okay, Dan.
For Ospreys, number 20, James King, replacing number 8, George
Well, I
Stowers.
see a white hand, so I just have to check.
So the try scorer, George Stowers, goes off. James King comes in.
I didn't see any ball in the ground.
I mean, I don't think there's any question that Jamie Hagan is not in any condition to play on. We'll go back to Ian Madigan's try in the first half. If you missed this one, this was beautiful reading of the game. Pounced on that ball, got himself low, finished on the outside, and the Ospreys in the second half responded with some lovely hands from Dirksen and from Beck, and the support line here from Stowers has just gone off to finish off a lovely move and get the Ospreys back in it. The gap 3 points after that, and we've got 22 minutes left to play.
Can we continue with uncontested, or can we continue with contested scrums?
Now, interesting that Peter Fitzgibbon asking if we can continue with contested scrums.
Well, it's irrelevant really. If they're either saying he can't, the guy who went off, the first guy went off injured, okay, and now this guy's going to be going off injured. Okay, so either the clock coming on can play tight head and they're accepting that, or they're entitled to go uncontested.
So Leinster have the choice here, Tony.
Okay.
They are entitled to go uncontested, given that both of their tight head props will be forced off injured. And, you know, if you were Joe Schmidt, what would you do?
Yeah, and do you remember Warren Gatlin got himself in the doo-doo when he made a comment about that, about opting to go for uncontested scrums if he was going to be. Well, there's Joe Schmidt in shot now. It's a big call. The question Peter Fitzgibbon was asking is, can the loose head coming on, Jack McGrath, play on the tight side of the scrum?
And if he can't, Joe Schmidt would be absolutely within his rights to say, no, he can't. We're going to play uncontested scrums. And when we saw just last weekend in Twickenham, Tom Court coming in and being asked to play in a position that he's not familiar with all that well. He has played a couple of matches for Ulster tight head, but you know, we all know what happened then.
Yeah, but he had been picked with that specialist role. One of the problems I have at international level, I don't understand, is why you cannot have a full front row in reserve, a loose head and a tight head. Why must there be a prop to cover both positions, given the obvious possible danger that might be there?
Well, I tell you, I had a conversation with Johnny Lacey on the way back from one of the matches, Irish referee, of course, and he basically said that it's not a question of just having the 23rd man. In terms of lower tier countries, the likes of, say, Namibia and Canada, who don't have the money to provide an extra player in the 23rd, that's the main reason for it. But anyway, we'll take Mark McDermott between the lines. He spotted something. Mark.
Yeah, it's so good having Brian O'Driscoll back to this Leinster side. We're just having a look at the work rate and the ethic that he brings into it. Watch in defence now, the line speed he is. He's up off first into the tackle. Keep your eye on him now as he rolls out, putting himself back into position now, moving out further. Now as the ball comes out again, watch who is in here on the ball getting the penalty. Brian O'Driscoll, the work ethic that he brings after the injury that he's had, taking the collisions, outstanding.
And all in his first appearance since the World Cup. I mean, important probably that the fans realise not to expect the world from this guy tonight. It was just important that he got back, that he came through without any effects. Joe Schmidt said he trained all last week and he had some tackle practice with the shields, if you like, but not body on body. So this would have been his first real test. Tony came through with flying colours.
Yeah, unfortunately the crowd, given the nature of the beast, would have been expecting assists and tries. That's the way it is. That's what they expect of Brian O'Driscoll. But as Mark rightly said, it's his ability at the breakdown to scrap for ball is absolutely phenomenal, and that has been a hallmark of his career right from the get-go.
So Sean Cronin comes in, Richard Strauss goes off. I suppose it's interesting to compare Wales and Ireland's approach to international player welfare after the Six Nations. If you look at Ospreys, you have 3 Wales players starting here, and then the likes of Adam Jones and Ian Evans on the bench as well. Cardiff have included Alex Cuthbert and Lloyd Williams in their team to play the Scarlets. Matthew Rees, Jonathan Davies and Ken Owens also involved for the Scarlets there, and the rest are down as injuries. But none of the Ireland internationals on display this weekend. Just different in terms of the way they manage players, and different ethos, if you like, between the rugby unions in Wales and Ireland, as Jamie Hagan was brought off and Jack McGrath goes in. Well, as soon as you saw him down, Tony, you knew he was in absolutely no state to continue.
Yeah, hopefully Jamie Hagan will be all right. But certainly that's a worrying sight, something we don't like to see in any sport, on any sporting occasion.
And he's up against a real warrior in Paul James for the Ospreys. So strong, so much experience.
Yeah, good kick. Okay. Time on, lad. Got it, go.
So we're back on. And Fergus McFadden will have a shot at goal.
You can, yeah.
There is Jack McGrath, St Mary's prop forward. You just hope that injury to Hagan isn't something too serious, but McFadden to put the gap back at 6. He's 5 from 6. Just the one miss. And you'd fancy him to get this one too. No problem. Straight between the posts. 22 points to 16. And just as Leinster seem to be getting their feet back in this game, the long injury interruption, you hope from Joe Spitz's point of view that you can pick up where you left off.
Yeah, and apart from that one glitch in the first half from McFadden, he has kicked extremely well. Indeed, in the middle of that, he almost picked himself up a try. It was his break that took Leinster right up to the Ospreys line.
Well, Leo Cullen did really well to claim that restart. He watched it all the way. Not an easy one. He was arching his back, falling towards the touchline, sets up the maul, gets 10 metres and has a penalty advantage as well. Captain fantastic back for Leinster.
Yeah, that's more like it. Moments like that are inspirational, and that's what I'm talking about, dealing with the restart. And that is certainly setting an example. That is wonderful athleticism, and indeed the support that he was given. But great play by, great leadership and good play by Leo Cullen.
And all of a sudden his decision to have that operation before the Six Nations looked like the perfect one, because he probably figured, you know, he's not going to be first choice in a Declan kidney. He is first choice in this team, and with so many important games coming up, they have him back now.
He set his priorities and he got it 100% right.
So Cronin to throw in. Leinster line out ball, and it is Leo Cullen that they go to. Well, the Ospreys were up very quickly there. Dominic Ryan took it into contact. Adam Jones trying to make a nuisance of himself. He does it really well. Kevin McLaughlin this time put on his back. Penalty against the Ospreys. Didn't quite see what that was for, I must admit.
7.
Oh, we're not going to see a yellow card for that tackle, are we?
No. We've lifted him up. We've lifted him by both legs. You put him down on your back, you haven't turned him, okay? So it's not a red card, but it's a yellow card for the dangerous tackle.
I'd love to see that one again.
Well, me too. I didn't see it live, so to speak. We may see it here on a replay, but certainly the interpretation by the referee was it was dangerous. Not a red card, a yellow.
Here it is. Tony?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think so. I didn't see anything there. Like, where do you draw the line? There was certainly no intent, and I know that's something we often say, no malice or intent, and there seldom is, but I just didn't see anything untoward there.
Well, Justin Tipperick is going to spend 10 minutes in the sin bin, and Leinster have the penalty. He doesn't look too happy about it. This is it again. Blue scrum cap here. Not his best strike. I don't think he has the distance here. No, it's dropped just short. Well, I think more a miss hit than anything else. We know Fergus McFadden. That was within his range. Quick ball taken from Luke Fitzgerald to Nathaywa. Madigan looks for the corner. Spiraling kick, needs the bounce. Really good kick by Madigan.
Yeah, it's a wonderful kick. That's just what this team needed at this point, just to settle them down, to play the game in Ospreys territory. Well read by Madigan.
Lovely spiral kick outside of the boot, low and fast into the corner, and
yeah,
I think Rhys Webb is preparing himself to come in place of Can Fatuali. This guy has got buckets of talent, called into Warren Gatland Six Nations squad.
Yeah,
and he's on in place of Fatuali. He goes off, but he's a live wire, loves to break around the fringes. He's strong, good kick as well. Rhys Webb. Carney underneath that one. Back towards Ethan Adewa. Owen O'Malley, first real touch for him. Tries to spot the gap behind James King, but sets it up for Isaac Boss instead. There for Ruddock over the halfway line, tackled by Alan Jones. Advantage being played to the Ospreys for the knock-on. Bishop on the outside. Tom Smith, tackled by O'Malley. And there for Reese Webb.
Away two. Rock.
Jones on the dummy run to Bishop. The outside is Beck over the 10-metre line. 16 minutes left to play. The Ospreys need to find a score from somewhere. Carney underneath this one. Walker's pressure. Good take by Carney. He's under a lot of pressure from Eli Walker there. Boss with a little break. Tackled by Richie Fussell. And at the back with McLaughlin. Damien Brown. Madigan tries to find a gap, straightens up with the pass.
Okay, we've come up with a strategy for the game. Give him.
Dirksen. They keep it alive. Beck this time he's gone ready.
The television experiment is a complete success. Within 3 weeks, the Wily Irish have started their own broadcast.
Tony Ward, the Ospreys were in for a clear try.
Yeah, I think the reaction of the crowd on that side of the pitch certainly helped the referee make up his mind instantly. But I do think he was right. Certainly you could see obstruction. We'll see it here now.
Ryan Jones drifted across. This was Dirksen, the pass, and just here, there, Ryan Jones judged to have been the one to obstruct. Otherwise, they were in for there.
Oh yes, well picked up by the referee and indeed the crowd on the far side.
Fergus McFadden back on his feet, out of earshot, just limping back into position. Took a bit of a knock. There he is. Looks okay to continue though. And again, we just have that 6-point gap, so by no means is this game done and dusted as far as Leinster are concerned. They've got to dig in and they've got to work. They have the man advantage for the next 7 minutes or so. Get the feeling it's been a frustrating night for Ryan Jones. He hasn't been happy with the referee's decisions, some of them in particular.
Oh, he can have no complaint there.
At that time, yeah, absolutely. Cronin to throw. Leo Cullen again. Brown into support. Hanke van der Merwe back, and Rhys Ruddock controls it. Looking for a bit of a shove. Continue this maul. Alan Jones trying to stop it, but he won't do it from there.
That's one stop.
It stopped once, says the referee.
Use the ball now.
Ruddock being told to use it, breaks off the back, tackled by Alan Jones. There from Court. Whistle goes, knock on. Was it Jack McGrath knocked it on? Just want to see that one again, but nonetheless the Ospreys will have the scrum.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, it's an amazing performance from Cullen. He's getting stronger as the game is going on. You would have thought the opposite, given the time he's been out of the game over the last few months.
So Carney goes off and Fionn Carr is in. It's incredible really. O'Driscoll and Thorne's inclusion in the Leinster team tonight means that Joe Schmidt has used a total of 48 players this season. That winning streak of 20 games is all the more impressive, Tony, when you're feeding players in and out every single week.
Couldn't agree with you more. In terms of rotation, now granted Leinster have a lot of quality players in reserve, but he really is utilising them to the full. And it's an amazing record given the turnover in players and the constant changing of the side.
Paul James off for the Ospreys, Ryan Brevington in, 23-year-old prop forward.
Touch! Pause! Engage! Not steady.
Breb takes the quick free kick. Dirksen bursts through the gap, watched by Isaac Boss and tackled by Boss. There for Webb again. Quick ball for Richie Fussell to use. He's got Walker outside him. It's a good tackle by O'Malley, I think. There for Webb again. He loves to do that, throw the dummy and burst off his right foot. That time he couldn't get away, but it's a warning to Leinster. He scored tries. He scored against Munster in Swansea earlier this season from that exact position. Quick tap and go, and he was gone. Got to be careful there. It's Bevington.
It's a rock! Stay back.
11.5 minutes left to play. Still the gap 6 points, and still Leinster with the one-man advantage.
Rock!
Contesting at the back, Cronin did well, but referee warning Leinster not to go offside. Box kick from Webb, dangerous one. It's going to hang in the 22 for Marcus Cole, but he hasn't held it onto it in the Sewa. It's gone into touch. Who's going to get the benefit? Well, the touch judge has gone for the Ospreys. Couldn't quite see it from this angle.
Yeah, to be fair to Nasewa, again, it was a really well judged kick, so he was under pressure with Ospreys competing for the ball. There you can see, although was he interfered with before he came to ground? Possibly, but he had not got control of the football.
So Richie Hibbert to throw in, waiting for the call. Dangerous position for the Ospreys. They already have one try in the second half and Stowers has gone off. But they'll fancy their chance here if they can win clean ball. Alan Wynne-Jones, the captain, rises high and claims it in the air. Ryan Jones plants it at the back, and Bevington lines out alongside Hibbert to perhaps carry and make a few more yards. Webb waiting for instructions, gets the call on the outside. Here's Bevington, buries the head, so strong, very quick as well for a prop forward. They've gone wide this time. Beck shimmies, tackle to the ground. Dominic Ryan got across well. Leinster having to defend and keep their discipline as well. Alan Wynne-Jones with a second row partner. Webb, plenty of options. Hibbert standing to the left. Little dummy run was by Hibbert. In fact, I think it was Tom Smith who took it. Leinster contesting again.
Not a rook yet.
Referee says it's not a rook yet, and they get the penalty. Really good defensive work by the home team.
Yeah, it is, but you can see the frustration on the part of the Ospreys because they felt it was just about to come back. But good discipline play, again, competing at the breakdown. There might have been a case of being off the feet, but you sense that the Ospreys sense the possibility of getting a win out of this game tonight. Leinster under immense pressure.
Madigan hasn't found touch either. That won't help their cause. Richie Fussell wants support runners here and gets one, and Dirksen, who took a good line, it was flat, but he wasn't forward, says the referee. There for Rhys Webb again. Looks for bigger. Grubber kick through, a decent kick as well by the fly half. Really good kick. Nathewat can't go quickly.
I know he's missed one or two goal kicks, but he too has kicked well tonight, particularly out of hand, and varied his tactical game.
Well, Nathewat did throw it eventually, but the line out was forward.
Number 4, substitution.
And back comes
Number 4.
Justin Tipuric, so Ospreys back to the full complement. We are hearing that Jamie Hagan's rib injury doesn't appear too serious, so that's great news for him. He just looked in considerable pain when he was on the ground, but always good to hear on initial assessment that it's not too serious. The Gary Owen and the Grubber, or the box kick, this could bounce anywhere, and has bounced anywhere, and the pick up off the ground is Dominic Ryan. Dominic Ryan, how much pace has he got? Gets the off on the outside to Cronin, who has got pace even for a hooker, and he's bursting through on the outside. Dirksen goes back. He's going to have to touch down for the 5-metre scrum. He did carry that over, and that's brilliant play. Dominic Ryan originally, and Cronin with the follow-up, Tony.
You know, that's what I mean. Great play by Ryan, well picked up. But again, this is where Cronin is so good. He's incredibly quick for a hooker, for a front row player. Look at that, and that's a very well judged kick ahead.
Let's go.
And it gives Leinster now, I mean, that's huge. That's almost worth the score, given that it's gone the length of the field and given Leinster a scrum 5 metres from the Ospreys line.
Owen O'Malley standing out there, Fionn Carr, Nathaiwa. If the ball goes to this back line, you would expect Leinster with the odds on to go over for a try. The problem they might have, Tony, is winning this scrum cleanly, because that is a big Ospreys front row on at the moment.
Crouch! Touch! Pause! Engage!
Well, there you can see the problem. They've got Jack McGrath and they've got Hanke van der Merwe. Two loose head props, one of them Jack McGrath in the tight head position. I mean, this can only end badly, really, you feel.
And the hair bear back in situ.
So it is McGrath where the pressure's going to come on here.
Pause! Engage!
He's got to get lower than that. You can see the Ospreys turning the screw. They win the penalty. He was way too high, Jack McGrath. Look, we're not going to blame him for 1 second. He's not used to it. It's a completely different art, tight head versus loose head.
It's a mismatch, and that's where the danger element comes into it.
We've got the drive on his collapse.
Not his fault, as you rightly say, at all.
That one. 74. Yeah, same one.
Did that one go forward? Referee says yeah, whistle's gone. So we've gone from a 5 metre attacking scrum. Luke Fitzgerald just couldn't hang on, and all of a sudden the Ospreys have it back inside the Leinster half.
And that was a knock on, no question.
Luke Fitzgerald ensuring the player glad to get the 80 minutes under his belt.
Crouch! Touch! Pause! Engage!
Scrum's gone down, referee happy to let it go, but the penalty against Leinster, it's a real area of concern now. The scrum, with 5 minutes left to go. If the Ospreys can go up the line, perhaps get the line out, and then anything could happen.
Yeah, no, they've got to go for the 7-pointer. They've got to go up the line.
As I mentioned, they really have to win this to try and keep their hopes up of a top 4 place. And there is plenty of games still left to go. I think 25 points on offer still before the playoff stages are decided, but they will want to win this match, and they really need to, looking at the way the table is situated at the moment. Steve Tandy looks on. The Ospreys head coach took over from Scott Johnson and Sean Holly when they left a couple of months ago. Jonathan Humphrey's also there, the forwards coach, and he's committed his future to the cause for the next couple of years until his contract runs out. But Leinster now will need to keep the defence intact and their eyes open. The Ospreys are on the attack. They set them all. 4 minutes left to play. 6 points the gap. A converted try for the Ospreys or a couple of penalties to level the match. You imagine the try is the only thing in their minds right now. Reece Rebb directing proceedings at the back. Adam Jones, big number 18. Leinster get a bit of a shove, but Adam Jones had it the whole time. Beck comes through off his centre on a great line and gets the pass away to Tipperick as well, looking to make amends for his sin bin early in the second half. There for Bigger, dummy from him, tackle to the ground and watched by Madigan. Now they go right, bit of an overlap on the right hand side. There's nobody at home here for Leinster. Hibbert almost at the line. Is he over? Richard Hibbert. The Ospreys think he is. We're going to go upstairs. Well, there was nobody on the right hand side for Leinster at all.
Time off.
And the hooker just put his head down, used his strength. And we'll have to go up to Alan Rogan for a decision here. Tony, what was your first thought?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he hasn't scored again, although we felt the same at the other end underneath the posts with Hanke van der Merwe. But my initial reaction was his momentum had carried him over. But did he get it down? Certainly that angle doesn't help.
Well, it doesn't look like he did with Isaac Boss. Watch Isaac Boss just here in the black scrum cap. That angle won't help you a whole lot. I don't think Isaac Boss seems to have the ball on the ground. If you watch it from this side, he comes across here, gets his hand on the ball and puts his body underneath Hibbert.
Yeah, I agree. I think Alan Rogan is faced with the same dilemma as he had at the other end. I mean, there's no conclusive evidence of a touchdown so far. Unless this angle helps. No.
Didn't hit the ground.
No. That looks to me like a 5-metre scrum again.
Well, it looked when Hibbert got that ball with nobody in front of him, it was an almost certain 5 points. And quick thinking from Isaac Boss to get his body position just there. You can see gap between ball and ground, or there. Did that touch the ground, Tony?
God, when it's slowed down like that, you wonder who'd be a TMO.
Peter, I have a decision.
Yes, Al, go ahead.
You may award the try.
Try given.
You're telling me it is a try.
It is a try.
Thank you.
Well, it obviously hit the ground. I mean, the benefits of the slow-mo, the crowd can boo all they like, Tony. I have to say, we thought originally no, but when we saw the slow motion, yes.
On that last shot, it certainly looked as if it did touch the ground just about. I mean, you could say how much pressure was there. As long as the ball is seen to be grounded in the in-goal area, in the try area, and then quite within his right, the referee and the TMO, and saying yes.
Hibbert's second try in the league this season. Will it be enough with this conversion to put the Ospreys in the lead for the first time in this game? This is a massive kick as far as their season is concerned. Bigger, brilliant strike, looks pretty good, and it goes over off the bar. Well, what a kick by Dan Bigger, and what a time to do it as well.
That certainly, oh God, drama here at the RDS, off the top of the post. Did it go over? I'm not sure, but the touch judges, they're underneath the bar, and they've said yes.
Well, the crowd at the RDS are booing at that decision. We've got 2 minutes to go. Knock-on advantage in terms. It's gone Leinster's way.
First one by White.
23 points to 22. Does the winning streak come to an end tonight in the RDS?
Well, certainly the Ospreys are in the driving seat now. Now, we may see this again, but it looked very close. I think it did. I think it just bounced back inside from that angle there.
Now, Leinster have the scrum, but for all the good it will do them, having lost the last two and given away penalties, this is a massive moment in the game. If they're going to win this, they need to get that ball to the back as quickly as possible.
In, out, to the back line.
Watch the pressure from the Ospreys here. Better body position for McGrath. That's much better by Jack McGrath. And he did exactly what was required of him there, which is just hold the scrum and lock it out. Isaac Boss. They need to get in a position where they can get a penalty or a drop goal. Madigan can do either. So can Fergus McFadden. Up they come the middle through Kevin McLaughlin. We've got a minute left to play. They trail by a point. Any score will do. Any penalty. The Ospreys need to keep their discipline. Something which I already mentioned they haven't been known for in the league so far. 14 yellow cards including tonight. Countless penalties against them. But their coach will be livid if they give away one here. Madigan back inside, Fitzgerald off his wing.
This is where discipline has to be exemplary from Leinster.
Ruddock was isolated. He had to let go. Referee having a look. Ospreys feel like they weren't allowed to contest for that ball properly, but how they managed to rob it. Appealing for the referee's whistle, they get the scrum. That could be it. 15 seconds to go, Tony.
And that is as good as a score, and possibly the victory with...
Well, I suppose I need to ask you for your Rabo Direct man of the match. Who's it going to be tonight?
Well, I tell you, it's not easy tonight given the way the game has gone. There were a few big performances, certainly from Fergus McFadden in terms of point scoring, in Madigan for the manner in which he took his try. Leo Cullen in the latter stages was quite inspirational. But for me, at half-back, I thought the Ospreys were outstanding. George Stowers turned the game around. But at the end of the day, the difference looks like being the manner in which Dan Bigger has put this game away. For me, Dan Bigger is the RTE Rabo Direct Pro 12 man of the match.
Well, it's his kick that is going to end a remarkable winning streak for Leinster. There's the penalty. We've gone the 80 minutes. Rhys Webb boots it over the line. I hope he has the distance for his sake. He does. That should be that. Well, they say every winning streak has to end sometime. For Leinster, it's come at the RDS, their Dublin fortress, in the Rabo Direct Pro 12. They led from start to almost finish, and that incredible try at the end from Hibbert, the conversion from the corner from man of the match Dan Biggar, means that the Ospreys have come to Dublin and done what no other side has done in quite some time, which is leave with a win. It's kept their Pro 12 hopes alive and perhaps pushed them forward to a place in the last four of the Pro 12. Final score at the RDS is Leinster 22, the Ospreys 23.
Oh, the finish. Well, we all know politicians kiss babies, but the real heroes get kissed. Leinster's streak, though, is broken. Back in a bit.